I am the lead sponsor of the bill to repeal the ban on crude oil exports. It was first passed in 1975. This is a bipartisan bill. We announced it last week, but today is the official unveiling of our primary Democrat sponsor, Congressman Henry Cuellar of Texas. We are getting a lot of support on the bill, which you will see in this press conference. We have American Petroleum Institute here, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce here, a coalition group called PACE, which is a conglomeration of a number of industry groups and independent oil and gas operators. So we've got a good group, and we are excited about our bill, H.R. 702s. With that, I'm going to introduce Congressman Henry Cuellar of Texas, which is our chief Democrat sponsor.
Thank you so much, Joe and Congressman, all my colleagues. It's a pleasure being with you. I have seen, if we look at how the environment has changed from the 1970s, technology has changed, the energy and oil production has greatly changed, and therefore we got to keep in mind that we're still operating under some outdated laws on the books that just don't make sense anymore because of the new technology that we have. I represent a large chunk of the Eagle Ford in Texas. I've seen communities, especially the rural communities, change. I've seen jobs, economic development, and certainly if we are able to lift the crude oil ban, this is going to open up new markets where Texas businesses can create more jobs at home, and certainly my other colleagues from their states are going to talk about how that's going to help their particular state. So we're doing this because because we know that it has changed, that technology has changed, and we need to do this. But it's not only, if you look at those communities, and I'll talk about the Eagle Ford in my area, it's not only the oil and gas industry, but it's all those secondary jobs. It's those restaurant owners, the small business owners, those workers that depend on these jobs dealing with the oil and gas industry. That is so important. I signed on to the Barn Bill last week after looking at this very carefully, spending time with him and other folks to make sure that as a Democrat that I have a seat at the table while decision-making process are being worked out, and I think it's important. I think we know that there are a lot of variables to consider when we discuss lifting the oil ban, and we need to consider all of them as we move forward. Certainly I remain committed to advocate for the all sectors of the oil industry. I think lifting the oil ban and making sure that we put in the right provisions where it doesn't set back another portion of the energy sector. So I'll continue working with my friends across the aisle to make sure that this outdated ban on oil exports is lifted and we get much closer to free markets that will benefit our country. So again, Joe, certainly I want to make sure that we continue working. I have talked to other Democrats, and I think we are going to get there to what we need. And if once we get this on the floor, you're going to see that we are going to get more support from the Democratic side. So thank you so much for having me here.
Well, thank you, Henry.
Thank you so much.
Henry's the first one, but he's not the last one with the D by his name. Next, I want to introduce Steve Scalise from Louisiana 1, big oil and gas part of Louisiana, but more importantly, he's the number 3 leader in the House as the Republican whip. Steve Scalise.
I want to thank my friend Joe Barton for bringing this legislation to lift the ban on oil exports. This law is a relic of the 1970s whose time has come to pass. If you look at the opportunities that we've got as a country to be energy independent, technology has unleashed so many vast resources across our nation. You're seeing states get into the energy business, like Ohio, like Pennsylvania, like North Dakota, that never experienced the kind of job opportunities and ability to provide energy for this country that they are today. And yet we still have a lot more opportunities to go. If we lift this ban, you'll see a lot more opportunities to create good jobs in America. These are good high-paying jobs, and also to help secure America's energy independence. I think it's one of the reasons why you see right now OPEC countries are trying to shut down production in America. And they're not going to win because our technology has advanced, and we've got the best technology. We've also got the best workers. But we've got a law in the books that's holding us back, and there's no reason to have that law still exist today with all of the reserves that we have in this country. Not only do we have the ability to provide energy for our country, but we have the ability to export energy to other countries, which creates jobs here at home and increases our energy security. So I support the legislation. I'm glad that Joe's bringing this forward, and I think it's an important debate for us to have as people recognize, not just in the traditional energy states, but all across the country, the power and benefits economically of American energy.